The call came at 2:47 a.m. on a quiet Tuesday night. The hospice nurse sounded calm, but something in her voice felt different. "Ava, your father is asking for you. I think you should come now." I didn't waste a second. Same clothes, no thinking, just keys and the road. My hands were shaking the entire drive. Deep down, I already knew. Dad had been losing the fight for months. Cancer doesn't rush, it takes its time. And I had been there through all of it. Every evening, every bad day, every silent moment. I didn't do anything extraordinary, I just stayed. When I reached the house, I froze. Ethan's car was already parked outside. The same brother who hadn't visited in weeks because he was busy. The same one who always had time for deals, but never for Dad. And now, he was here before me. At 3 a.m. That wasn't concern. That was timing. I walked in fast, heart pounding, following voices, but they weren't in the bedroom. They were in Dad's study. And the moment I stepped in, everything made sense. Dad was slumped in his wheelchair, barely conscious, his breathing shallow, his eyes struggling to focus. Ethan stood in front of him, holding documents. And a stranger sat at the desk with a notary stamp ready. "What are you doing?" My voice came out sharper than I expected. Ethan didn't even flinch. "Relax, Dad just wants to make a few changes." At this hour, in this condition, Dad's head tilted slightly when he heard me. "Ava." I rushed to him, held his hand, and felt how weak he really was. Ethan smoothly guided his hand toward the paper. "Just sign here, Dad. We already talked about this. Ava doesn't need anything, she's simple. I'll manage everything properly." That one line told me everything. This wasn't a discussion. This was a setup. I grabbed the papers. A new will, dated today. Everything, the house, investments, Mom's jewelry, even the small school fund Dad had promised my students. All of it gone to Ethan. And for me, just a sentence. "To my daughter Ava, I leave my love, knowing she values feelings more than wealth." I looked straight at him. "You wrote this." He smiled like it didn't matter. That's how legal documents sound. But I wasn't focused on him anymore. Something was wrong with Dad. His breathing, too slow. His eyes, unfocused in a way I had never seen before. I had spent enough time with him to know one thing. This wasn't normal medication. "You increased his morphine," I said quietly. For a second, silence filled the room. Ethan's hand moved toward his pocket, where the shape of a pill bottle was visible. That was enough. "Nurse." Within seconds, the night nurse rushed and checked Dad, and her face turned pale. "This dose isn't scheduled." Everything after that blurred into chaos. Doctors called, vitals checked, reports filed. And in that confusion, Ethan slipped away. With the papers. Dad passed away 6 days later. He never fully woke up again, but he held my hand to his last breath. And I told him the truth. That none of it mattered. Not the house, not the money. Just him. Ethan didn't come back. But he did file that will. At the funeral, he played his role perfectly. Tears at the right moment. Words that sounded right. A speech about legacy. But he couldn't look at me. Because somewhere, he knew. 2 weeks later, we sat in Dad's lawyer's office. Mr. Lewis, someone who had seen every chapter of our family. Ethan walked in confident, expensive suit, sharp lawyer beside him, already planning his next move. But Mr. Lewis didn't even let things start normally. "Before we begin, we need to address something serious. Fraud. Medical reports, nurse statements, the notary's discomfort. Everything documented." Ethan shifted, but stayed silent. Then Mr. Lewis placed another document on the table. Older. Filed properly. Untouchable. Ethan's face drained. "That's not possible." But it was. To my son Ethan, whose ambition has outgrown his integrity, I leave $1 and a lesson. Wealth taken without honesty will never stay. The room went silent, and everything else goes to my daughter Ava, who showed me that love is proven by presence, not promises. Ethan lost it. This is fake. But Mr. Lewis wasn't done. There's also a recording. The screen turned on. Dad appeared weak but clear. If you're watching this, it means Ethan tried to change things when I couldn't resist. Ethan froze. I know about your debts, your lies, the shortcuts you took. Then Dad's voice softened. Ava, you stayed. That's all that ever mattered. And then, the line that broke everything. Ethan, I forgive you, but I won't protect you from your choices anymore. The video ended. And just like that, Ethan collapsed. Not because he was weak, because he was exposed. Because for the first time, he realized he didn't just lose the money. He lost the only person who still believed in him. Legal action followed, quiet, but enough to end everything he built on lies. He didn't fight. He couldn't. 6 months later, he disappeared. Bankruptcy, a new city, a smaller life. I heard he works quietly now. No shortcuts, no noise. Maybe learning too late. As for me, I didn't celebrate. Because this wasn't a win. This was a father's last decision, to protect one child and still try to save the other. He left me more than money. Letters, one for every year he thought he might miss. Future birthday notes, messages for moments that haven't even happened yet. And one sealed envelope for Ethan. When you're ready. I never opened it. Some things aren't mine to fix. I turned the house into something meaningful. A space filled with students, books, learning, laughter. The fund he created now supports schools that needed it the most. Every computer placed carries his belief forward. I kept one thing from that night. The pen Ethan tried to force into Dad's hand. It sits on my desk. Not as anger. As a reminder. Real inheritance isn't what you take. It's what you prove when no one is watching. In the end, he came for money. I came to say goodbye. And life made sure. We both walked away with exactly what we deserved. If this story made you feel something real, don't forget to like and subscribe, because some truths don't need noise. They just need to be heard.